way, it really was a building of a foundation, and it all started with my preparation. And when you look at preparation, where do you begin? Well, I learned, looking back here, two parts were really the most important. One, I found out early, which I didn't know back then, and which is the fundamentals. The other was perfection. And I learned that late in my career. And along the way, you got to pay attention to the little things, because those little details really come back and make a big difference at times that you just never know when it's going to happen. And when I look at, and I talk about the fundamentals, and usually I talk a little bit about my dad here, because he's really built my fundamentals around sports. I grew up playing baseball, basketball, and football all the way through high school, and he was always there when I came home. I always had a ball in my hand of some kind, and he would always take me somewhere to do that. But since we're here and we're talking about horses, I'll give you a little bit about one of my horse experiences that kind of deals in the same part of the fundamentals. Is that I loved horses from when I was a kid. Actually, in college, Mr. Day, wherever you're sitting, helped me get through college, because during the summer we stayed around, and we had to, just like now, you started going to summer school so that they can keep you around and keep you practicing. Well, I had a job with the park department, and the head of park department's son and I worked together, and we dragged softball diamonds. But we would hurry and drag the softball diamonds as fast as we could, because we wanted to hurry up and go grab a 12-pack of beer, head out to the lake to go fishing after we made our bets on the horses for the afternoon. But we didn't really bet horses. He taught me to bet jockeys. So I want to thank you for helping me get through wherever you're sitting. You made me a lot of money. But when I look at the horses, and I loved, when I was in Kansas City, I ran into a guy that I played with, Jonathan Hayes, who was 6'7" and black guy, one of the biggest, nicest guys you'll ever meet. And he said, "Hey, I want you to come down to Dallas and watch me in this celebrity cutting." And I'm going, "Oh man, the season's over, Johnny. I just want to go home." And my wife goes, "No, you got to go. You got to go." So I went down there, and I got put on a 5-time. His trainer was a 5-time world champion cutting horse trainer, and he put me on a horse that had won 2 world championships with, and that was the end of it. So I got hooked on cutting horses. But my wife and daughters like jumping. So they were doing their jumping thing, I was doing my cutting horse thing, and I kept trying to get the girls to come over there. I kept saying, "Girls, you're winning ribbons over there, you can win money over here. And I'll let you keep it." Because the more chances that they went to shows, the more shows I would get to go to. But I'm not a very good spectator, right? So I'm going all these jumping horse events, and I'm going, "Oh, heck with this, I can't do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go jump." So without going through all the fundamentals of the groundwork and all the things that you had to do, which I didn't understand that it could be that difficult, I started jumping. Well, I guess you can say I started jumping, because most of the time I went and the horse didn't. And I found out that you really had to go back, and I said, "Well, how come this keeps happening to me?" And the trainer said, "Well, you didn't do any of the fundamental parts of learning how to control the horse, learning the strides and all that." And I go, "It doesn't look that hard, just go out there, run and jump." And he said, "No." But I really didn't have the time, because I really wanted to go to my cutting horses. And then I really knew that my days were over on the jumping arena. One day I'd hurried up, and I'd already jumped without my horse. And I was sitting in the stands getting ready to video my daughters, and here comes a guy running up the steps, and there's a lady sitting 2 rows behind me, and she says, "Oh, you're late. You missed him again, and he fell off again." But I got it on video. Right then I go, "Okay, I'm not doing this anymore." That was my last jumping attempt. But I found out, though, that those fundamentals are really important in the things that you do. And later on, I got to Notre Dame. I had a kind of up and down career. I always tell my boys that they're trying to play this crazy game, and I try to teach them the fundamentals that I learned later, also in my career with Bill Walsh, and how to do that. And I told him, you know what, no matter what happens to you, just remember, there's always time, because when I was a freshman, there were 7 freshman quarterbacks that year that came into Notre Dame, and I worked my way all the way to number 7 by the end of the year, so there's always hope. But as I got out of Notre Dame, you know, I thought I was well prepared. You know, we played in a lot of big games, a lot of television games. We won a national championship. I really thought my preparation was, I was ready to go to the NFL. But little did I know what preparation really was all about until I met Bill Walsh. Because Bill demanded perfection. And, I mean, to the littlest details. When guys run up, you see guys run out, and you see a guy run down, he'll go 10 yards, and he'll turn around, and they call that a hook route. Well, he would say, look, you see the guy run the hook route. He goes, now, what I want you to do is when that guy runs a hook, I want you to see if the defender's over here, I want you to throw the ball to this number to tell him to turn that direction. When he's running a crossing route, he goes, I want you to throw the ball 12 inches in front of the numbers, not 24, where someone's trying to take their head off as they go across the middle, not 18 behind him, where he's got to stop and turn around and catch the ball. And he said, and by the way, I also want you to complete 100% of your passes. Okay, I tried that all the time. He goes, no, you don't really try it. You go out there and you think you're trying it, but you're not really attempting to do it. And I said, well, okay. He says, but just think of it this way. If you try to complete 100% of your passes and you fail, if you go out there and you just want to be 60, 70%, try for that, and you fail, he goes, you won't be on this team very long. So I started trying to complete 100% of my passes from that day on. But it's those little things that you don't realize that come back to help you. And the little details that he talked about to us. You know, you look at the fundamentals, and when we talk about fundamentals, we were playing New Orleans. We had a tendency to have to come from behind. Probably it was a lot of my fault that we got behind in the first place, but we had a lot of comebacks. Well, we're playing the Saints, and if anyone can remember back to the 80s, we had one of the worst fields ever. This candlestick sits below the water table, so it could not rain for 2 years and it would be just a slush puddle. And so we're playing the Saints, and they're beating us 35-13 in the middle of the third quarter, and Bill calls us all up and he says, listen, forget about this game right now. What we're going to do is we're going to go back to the fundamental part of our game, and we're just going to try to end this game on a good note. So what do? We went back to our base offense and base defenses, and little do we know, we came back and we win the game 38-35 in Candlestick. And you talk about the things that happen, and one of them was mentioned again. One day I came off of practice, and Dwight and I in spring training camp. Baseball's already, too many baseball games for me already. We're out there, and they always take you to these hot places, so it's 100 degrees. We finish the second practice, and he calls Dwight and I over, and he says, come here, you two. And usually one of us was in trouble. And so I said, what'd you do last night? He goes, nothing. I go, you're a liar, because I know I didn't do anything, and we're getting summoned over there for something. So he goes, come here. I want you to run this play, and I want you to throw the ball 3 times above his head. Until you do it, you know, until you get 3, we're not going to go off the field. And we walk off the field. Finally, we get it done, and we look at each other and go, wow, silver-haired man's going senile, because we never throw the ball to Dwight on this play, because we have a little slot formation where you have 2 receivers right next to each other, and Dwight's the outside receiver. And his job on this play is to go down and inside to the inside receiver's defender and set a little pick. Well, I'm sorry, picks are illegal, so he tries to get in the defender's way. When the defender comes off the screen and you throw the ball and he falls in the end zone. And well, we'd already scored on the play once in the game against the Cowboys that day. This time it happens, Freddie, our inside receiver, falls down. Now Dwight takes his good old time getting to do what he's supposed to do, and everybody's wondering, well, what took you so long to throw it? I go, well, his big, slow, white rear end took forever, because he had no idea he was going to throw him the ball. And little did we know that that play right there, and that little detail that Bill made us work on for some crazy reason, would be so important in 49er history and actually put us into the first Super Bowl.
Nice.
And you look at those, one more instance, when you talk about 12 inches in front of the numbers, in the Super Bowl, the quarterback, Kenny Anderson, they're 4th and 1 on our 1-yard line. And Bill coached Kenny too, so Kenny was having a pretty good day. Well, this one throw, the back comes out of the backfield, all Kenny has to do is throw it 12 inches in front of the numbers, and he goes into the end zone. He throws it 12 behind him, he turns to catch it, our linebacker tackles him on the 1-yard line. We go down to score from there, and we go on to win the game. And you just don't know those little things that make a big difference. And while you're practicing to be perfect, things that happen to you, like a work ethic, all of a sudden become developed. And work ethics are good and bad, as we all know. But when you look at work ethics and you talk about work ethics, there's one person that comes to my mind, and he was here a couple years ago, Jerry Rice. Because when Jerry was drafted to the 49ers, Bill always used to tell us how great some of these guys were. About this one wide receiver before Jerry got there, wait till you see this guy. Well, he was trying to catch balls like this. One hand backwards. I go, I'm not sure he's going to be very good, Coach. Well, he tells about Jerry and how many touchdowns Jerry's caught and how many he's run for and how many he's even thrown, which made me a little nervous. But in comes Jerry, and the first day of practice, I mean, I'm throwing balls, and they are bouncing off of Jerry. I mean, he couldn't catch a cold. And we're all looking at each other going, oh my gosh, and here we go again. Well, the first pass Jerry catches, he turns, and it was probably 60 yards, and he sprinted. I mean, as fast as he could go to the end. Look at the rookie trying to impress the coach, right? Because wide receivers are taught, catch the ball, turn around and run 10, 15 yards, and then come back to the huddle. So we're all have to wait for him to come back, and but that was the way Jerry worked. That was his work ethic. Every time he touched the ball, whether it was 9 yards or 90 yards in practice, he scored a touchdown. And so you ask yourself, is it a coincidence that Jerry's the NFL's all-time touchdown reception leader? And I say no, because that's what he did every day. But on top of that, that work ethic became contagious to our other guys. John Taylor was our wide receiver on the other side. Now you throw the ball to John Taylor, now he would run to the end zone. Or you throw the ball to Roger Craig, our running back, and he would run to the end zone. And then it's got to be where you throw to one of them, and if they were all on the field, they'd race to the end zone together. Now, this is getting old after a while, but they're getting in shape. We're not even thinking about all the things, but you never know, again, when those things come back to help you, because we're playing the Rams on a Monday night, and we're not playing very well again. We're behind again. And I'm sure it was Jerry's fault, not mine. But here we are, and not only that, we're getting bad field position. It's late in the third quarter, and we're getting the ball on the 4-yard line. Now, I step back, I take 3 steps, and I throw a pass to John Taylor, a little slant for about 6 yards. He catches the slant, and he goes 96 yards for a touchdown. But the reason he scored was because Jerry Rice was inside the other 20 throwing a block for him to get him into the end zone. So if that's not good enough, a time or two after that, we get the ball again. We're on the 6-yard line. Same 3 steps, same slant to John Taylor, same result. 94 yards for a touchdown with Jerry again throwing another block to get him in the end zone. Now, I'm loving it because I'm a quarterback, right? And stats are pretty impressive. I just threw 2 balls for 10 yards. I got 198 yards of passing and 2 touchdowns. Now, they can do this all they want. But, yeah, no, I need more than water. It's just starting to get sick, and I'm going on vacation tomorrow. It's killing me. Sorry about that. But anyway, when you start building this work ethic, the other thing that happens, which I think is one of the things that really takes teams to different levels, is when you can trust the guy next to you. that he's going to do what he's supposed to do. And he's going to give every effort, his best effort to be the best that he can be and do the right thing. And trust is a big thing in offensive football, because from the minute I take a snap from the center, I have to put my trust in the 5 fat guys in front of me, right? Because they're trying to block 5 fat guys that don't really like me with the football. Now, the one thing that's going to happen is we're all going to make mistakes, right? I'm going to throw an interception. I don't want to throw. These guys are going to miss a block. But they know and trust that if that happens, I'm going to do my best to get rid of the ball before I have to, so that I don't take a sack. And for me to do that, I have to trust that Jerry Rice and John Taylor or Roger Craig, when I say a 10-yard out, I mean 10 yards, not 14 or 8, because I'm going to have to throw it long before he makes that break. So the defender will see the ball before he does. And they also know that if they do cut it off, and it is an interception, I will not catch the defensive back before he gets to the end zone. As I proved in my first game I ever played in Seattle. I threw 2 interceptions, run back for touchdowns, and the guy had the nerve to run me over on the one to get in for the second one. But trust is one of those things that, head coaches hate when the ball between the quarterback and center goes on the ground. You can throw an interception, you can hold, you can do whatever, but when that ball goes on the ground, he is absolutely insane for some reason. So trust starts early with the quarterback and center. And quarterbacks always get there early because we get a lot of the game plan before everybody else does, so we can study. Back then we didn't have those little things that they talk to you in your ear now and tell you all the plays, so we had to memorize. We probably had 130 passes on an average with 2 or 3 formations for each pass. You had to not only know the formation, but you had to know what order he wanted the formation in. So it was a lot of memorization. But so I'm in there early, and my center's, I go into the team meeting a little bit early to study, and my center's in there. And he's sitting in the back room, he's having breakfast. And he's got a quart of chocolate milk and the biggest green chili bean burrito I've ever seen in my life. Now, you can only imagine what that does to a man's system at 7:30 in the morning. Right? So,
We know real well, but we don't.
all I can imagine is where my hand had to be for the rest of the day. So, I know what you're thinking, and yeah, you're right. It did happen. It didn't happen often, though, because trust is a mutual thing, right? Because he eventually found out that if he did have those kind of problems, with a little flick of my fingers, he had a very difficult time breathing for a while. So you see, trust starts early with us, and we didn't have a lot of issues after that. It's like a horse or any other animal. It took a while to get him to learn it, but he finally figured it out. But really, when I look back on my career, I really do think that I was fortunate. I had some great parents. Had a great opportunity going to Notre Dame. Had really fortunate to run into a guy like Bill Walsh, and I really think that a lot of it that I learned was through the preparation and the things that I pass on to my 4 kids. I tried to, and they're stubborn too. But I really was a very fortunate person to have had that success, and I really do believe it all came as I learned how to prepare and how to get ready. The trainers will tell you, the owners of these horses will tell you, it takes a lot of preparation to get them right, to get them where they need to be. And without that preparation, you're not going to have a winner, or you're not going to be able to win. And when I think about winning and I think about preparation, Notre Dame comes back to my mind, because Notre Dame has a special entrance exam to get in. It's 150 questions, and there was a guy that I knew was trying to get in, and he had prepared himself, he said, very well, and he went in and sat down for this test, and he read through the first 149 questions just like that, and he's going, oh, this was easy, and it gets to the 150th question, and it says, what's what? What the heck, I don't care. He turns his paper in, thought he did very well, but 2 weeks later he gets a notice from Notre Dame that he had missed the most important question, what's what? And so he had been denied entrance into the university. So he says, no big deal, I'll just, next year I'll go back and take it again, I'll prepare myself well. And he certainly did that, went back in there, sat down, went through 149 questions again, and there it was again. Didn't think that question was going to be on the same test again the next year. So he takes a stab at it, knows what's happening, sure enough, gets the same letter next week. And it's a nice summer day, he says, the heck with this. He grabs his girlfriend, and they go out on the canoe, and they're paddling around out on the lake, trying to enjoy the nice weather. And you know, she's sitting there in this little skimpy bikini, and he being the fine, upstanding, soon-to-be Notre Dame guy, he's staring off at the shoreline. She sees he's not paying any attention, says, I may as well at least get some sun. She leans back, and the top of her bathing suit hits the back of the boat. Snaps, makes a noise, and he turns and says, well, what's that? And she said, what's what? He said, hell, if I knew that, I'd be a sophomore in college.
Oh, yeah.
So you see, preparation is important for Notre Dame. But I just want to say again, I want to say thank you to all of you for coming. I think we're going to do some, we talked about paying money for questions to help this out today. Somebody mentioned that. Are we still on for that? We're on? All right. Here we go. How much were we charging? 100 each. Yeah, baby.
Where do we have the microphone set up for the question to be asked? Are they coming up here?
I would not be a cowboy. I would try to find a way to spend more. I unfortunately missed my two daughters and probably a little bit of my older son growing up because of playing football. I wish I could get that time back. I think about it all the time. My wife is a photography freak, so we have pictures of all of it. They're at different ages, and I do things a little bit differently now. Unfortunately, I wish I'd done it back then, because when we would go out in public and we would go to a place like an amusement park, I ended up signing autographs, and I missed a lot of their fun and their excitement and their joy by doing that. And I learned from Magic Johnson, because I said, I don't know how to deal with this, Magic. I go, I'm 6'2" and white. I can hide. You're 6'9" and black. How do you do it? You can't just walk through the crowd. And he said, well, I found out that I was with my son one day, and it was supposed to be his day with me, and I was signing autographs and taking pictures, and he tugged on my shirt, and he said, Dad, are you with me or are you with them? And he said, then I had to find a way to do it. And he says, so when I'm with my family now, or back then, he goes, it's me and my family, and I try to be nice, and if they don't understand, I hope they do, but most people did. And I would love that time back. I would do that differently. Yes. That wasn't a question. That was a request.
That's a request, yeah.
I can't do that. I can't. Because then we're going to have to all do it. For $200, you're on. Bring her up here.
We'll count that as one of our questions. While we're getting them up here, let's go and take another question. Do we have a third question? Oh, that helps.
Oh.
Thank God.
Yeah, way back there. Pass it up. Who hit me the hardest? My wife. No, she's not here. She's actually, we're traveling with two other couples, and she's actually, I'm meeting them in Florida tomorrow, and they're leaving in the morning. But who hit me the hardest? Probably Leonard Marshall, when he hit me from behind a little. cheap dog. I actually backed into him, so it was part of my fault. I'd sprinted out of the pocket, and unfortunately it was in a championship game. We were winning, and I just spotted Jerry. And Lawrence Taylor was cutting me off to the front, and I stopped and backed up, and I was just getting ready to throw it to Jerry, and he hit me on a full sprint from behind, and that's really not the hit that hurts. And that's the thing can never understand with the NFL. They try to stop the hit. The hit you can survive, but what happened was when I hit the ground is when all hell broke loose. I couldn't breathe. What they do is they get you off balance, and they compress you into the ground with their body weight. And it's not like they hit you and tackle you. They hit you, and then they really try to get on top of you. And so when you get the wind knocked out of you, normally you can breathe out a little bit. I really thought I was going to die because I couldn't breathe out at all. And I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going to happen. And finally, after I don't know how long, it felt like 20 minutes, but it was like 3. I sat there, and I finally sat up, and the doctors were there, and they said, are you okay? And I go, yeah, but I think you need to look at my hand. And he said, why? I said, well, I don't know, my fingers, I think my finger's broken. And so he checks my finger and goes back, and he goes, no, I said, everything's fine. I go, well, I don't think it belongs under there like that, doc. But what happened is my agent has a picture of us horizontal on the ground, and he has my hand in his hand. And so when we hit the ground and he compresses me, he also rips back on my hand. Oh. And he spiral fractures my hand in the back. So when they say they're not trying to hurt you, oh yeah, they're trying to hurt you. I learned, though, a technique I tried to teach my boys. Because when they hit you in the front, you got a chance. Because all you got to do is bend one of your knees and just hope you get them in the right spot. And you can get them back on occasion. Yes.
I'm proud to say this, I'm not a 49er fan.
It's all right, we all got personal problems, don't we?
Yeah! Good answer.
Thank you.
But a good friend of mine, his father is able to in the back of the room, and all I ask is you please take a picture with him.
See.
That's why we're going to stick to questions. I'm sorry, sir, but that's why kind of we got to this point to begin with. Can we get a question from someone? Okay.
Let me know when you sell your places in Clear Lake, and I'll get back to you. Got any horses you want to trade?
All right, one final question.
I have one, actually. These gentlemen here are big fans of yours, and they have a question. What is the most interesting thing you've ever signed? People ask for your autograph all the time.
Uh-huh. That I can talk about?
Yes. Yes.
We got another question?
No. Answer it. Come on. Yeah. Answer it. Come on.
Yeah. I don't remember. I have too many concussions.
All right, we will do one more question from way back over there, man in the vest. Go ahead.
Well, I think given the time, I think the best way to look at Alex is whatever job you're in, whatever you do, change jobs for the next 6 years and see how good you are at your job. Go to a different company every year for 6 years. It's really difficult as a quarterback when you come in and you're having to learn a whole new system every year. You never really gets time to sit down. And to be honest with you, some of those systems, excuse me, at one point they asked me to take a look at Alex, and so I take home a couple DVDs, and I get a third through the first DVD, and I call back and I go, first of all, your offense sucks. So you're killing the poor guy, right? When he gets in a rhythm, he's pretty good. But the problem he had is it's 3rd and 8, for example. Now he's standing back in the pocket, and I can't find a receiver in the screen. So he's got guys that are 20 yards plus down the field that you can't even find. And here's this poor guy going, okay, if I don't throw it, I'm going to get criticized. If I do throw it, and it gets knocked down or intercepted, I'm going to get criticized. I mean, he's got a 25% chance of something good happening. There's nobody to dump the ball off to. Because on 3rd and 8, I keep trying to tell guys who are playing the game, you don't have to get a first down. It's okay to punt. That's why you got the guy over there. If you were not supposed to punt, you wouldn't have a punter. But it's okay. It's better than doing the things that they put this guy in that position for a number of years. And it's very difficult, you know, in his mind, he's trying to do the best he can, but he really wasn't working with a whole lot. So you saw a big adjustment when he got someone who actually coached him to the point and had an offense that gave him opportunities to do different things with the ball. And I think the throw that made me see a little bit of difference in him was when he hit Vernon Davis against the Saints. He didn't need to make that throw, but he stepped up in the pocket, and that's one of the hardest throws to make because as he lets it go, Vernon is running with his back turned. There's a defender behind Vernon, and he has to throw it right here. And right there in front of him is a defender looking right at the ball coming at him. And it's not easy in your mind to go back there and let that ball go and trust that that receiver is going to make that little bend. But when he completed that pass, that in my mind said he's changing. So is he there yet? Maybe not, but he's getting there.
Yay.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. Thanks for all your words of wisdom. But you're not off the clock yet. Now we've got to do the auction.
All right.
And the good news about the things we're going to auction off, he is going to sign these items. And again, all the money's going to stay right here with United Blood Services. So we're going to start with a 49ers team official autographed football. Have you already signed this? Is that your?
Yeah.
That's you.
We just did them in the back.
Okay, great. Okay, so it has already been signed.
At least I saw the guy doing that.
He's so famous, he has someone else. All right, lots of people. 350, I see number 21. How about 400? 400 in the back, looking for 450. 450 right over here. How about 500? 500 right over here. Okay, now we need 550. 550. We're at $500 for the autographed football. 550, thank you very much. Can we get to 600? 600, 650? 650 it is. How about 700? 700 right here. Now looking for 750. 750, looking for 800. 800 in the back. We're now at $800 for the football. 800 right over here. Okay, thank you very much. Number 21 at 850. Can we get to $900? At 850, looking for 900. We got 900? There it is in the back. Thank you very much. 900. How about 950? 950. Can we get to 1,000? There it is. $1,000. Very nice. 1,050. All right. There's 1,100. Can we get to 1150? 1150 it is. How about $1,200? 1,200. Thank you very much. Number 15. 1,250 over here. 1,300 in the back. Keep it going. 1,350. Wait for 1,400. 1,400. How about 1,450? 1,400. 1,450. There it is. Looking for 1,500. $1,500. 1,450, thank you very much. So we're 1,500, 1,550, 1,600. It's keeping moving fast. $1,600 is where we are. All right, and by the way, number 16, 1,600. Very nice. All right, here's what we're going to do, folks. There were two people over there in the back that were bidding pretty hard today. How about this? We'll give you each the football. We got two of them for $1,600 apiece. Does that work? All right. We got our first sales done. $1,600. Thank you very much.
It's a good thing you took over.
I'll tell you what.
You're pretty good at that.
Next, as we... You gonna throw it? How's your arm after all these years? We'll get our other winner up here in a second. And as they make their way up, we'll have that other football.
Take a picture.
All right. Fantastic stuff. 1,600 for getting us started. man stick 'em. All right, up next. Number again, $1,600 back there, looking for $1,700. $1,700. Go to $1,800. $2,000 and number 9. We're $2,000 right now. How about $2,100? $2,000. Awesome, awesome, awesome. United Blood Services will be very happy. 2,000 going once. 2,000 going twice. Sold. Table 9, $2,000. $1,200. $3,600 for number 44. $3,600. Number 9. What? $4,000 for number 9. There's $4,000. $4,000 going once. $4,100 for number 41.
Jeez. Is that you?
$4,100 to number 9. $4,500 for number 9. $4,500 going once. $4,600 for number 41. $5,000 for number 9. She wants the jersey 41. How are you going to beat her? She's at 5,000. What are you going to do?
Let's go to 6.
$5,000. No, we're going to one jersey. 5,100 for 41. 5,100. I have neither. $5,100 for number 41. We're huddling. The table 9 is huddling right now. We're $5,100.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. No problem.
Table 9 is in for what? 52 or 55?
It's good, sir.
52. Okay, we're slowing down. We're past the $5,000 mark. 5,200. Does 31 want to go to 53? 5,200 going once. 5,200 going twice. $5,300 right there. $5,300 to table 31. All right. 5,300 going once. 5,300. 55.
55?
$5,500 to table 9. That is awesome. $5,500 going once. I think 31 found out. $5,500 going twice. Congratulations, Joe. You just sold another good jersey for $5,500.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
That is the largest live auction item I think we've ever had here at Sunland. And I am dizzy.
I'd be dizzy too.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it again for the one and only. They're called Joe Montana.
I just want to say thank you very much for your generosity. I know that everyone here is very appreciative and hope everybody has had fun tonight and even more fun tomorrow. I'm not telling you who I'm betting on. That's fun. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much to Joe Montana.